Okay, so I kind of had to cut it right there. Sorry about that. I didn't grab my Bible. I've decided. I mean, if you really want to, you can find out. Just there's it's in the very beginning of Genesis. You can read it if you really wanted to. Anyways, so okay, they found out that there's based upon like the earth that they found through this excavation was like earth from like the bottom of a river, like a lake, and they could trace a lake, and they could trace like a town or two, and like a trade route between it and whatnot. They could, they also were able to figure out that through these remains that through the story of Noah's Ark and through he had a wife and stuff, and he was a merchant and whatnot, and then he he built this boat and kind of survived this great flood. Um, it kind of works out because it then through the soil and through everything, they were able to confirm that there was a great flood in this area that covered water all over, right, and flooded everything, and then above this level of water and stuff after degraded and stuff over time, earth piled up, they then found like some skeletons of animals and like a body and like this boat and stuff, kind of making it believe as if somebody did create like a raft of some sorts and like took on like his dog or something and his family, and kind of tried to tough out this big flood. So I wish I could reference that with the video. I saw it on the Discovery Channel, and I mean, you can't. I guess you can't believe anything you see on TV or whatever. But if there is that's actually something that they found out on the internet, through paleontology or whatever. They figured it out, and they kind of they intermingle. But what I'm trying to get at is basically people believe in things, you know, find meaning. So, people love to ask questions, but they even love even more to find the answers to their questions. Now, let's pull out some good examples here. Um, we know for sure that there are beliefs within people that you know co- uh, that people not only believe but they practice too. Like for example, we take communion at within certain Christian forms of Christianity. We do communion once a month or maybe every Sunday. I don't know. I only know that we did it once a month in the United Church. Um, but communion is eating bread that's dipped in wine, and I don't have any of my signing down because I haven't really read much of the Bible. I just have one. I've flipped through it sometimes, and I've read all of Genesis and like some other parts, and had some questions from my friend who goes to church all the time. Regardless, within the book, everybody knows, eat this for this is my body, and he like presents bread to this group of people, and drink this wine for it represents my blood, and we do the communion because of that kind of little story within the Bible. Um, that's just one example. Another example in I think it's Exodus or whatever the second book in the Bible is, unless it's Genesis. I'm not sure, but either way, there's a story within the very beginning of the Bible where God was kind of ticked off, and he told the leader or this man of a village, a big city. I think his name was. He could have been named Abraham. I'm not sure, but he was told to go. He was told to, among other things, cut the foreskin off of all the men in the town. Now that is to redeem holiness and acceptance by God. So he went ahead and did that. Um, thus, if that sounds familiar, that's something that Judaism follows, and when you're born, they give you a circumcision. Now, they follow these terms literally, and it's fine to do that. But in my belief, the Bible, as long as other forms of things like forms of religion, such as Buddhism or whatever, the teachings or the stories and whatnot is there to enrich and enhance and create us as a people a better life. And what I'm trying to say is, you read a story in the Bible and it comes with a moral. The moral to the story is something that uh, God or Jesus or whatever is wanting you to understand, read, take in the idea, the concept, the moral, and apply it to your life to not only make you a better person, but make people around you feel happier. Um, happier, they'd feel happy. Not only that, but it'd be helpful, and they could spread happiness along, and that's kind of what I'm trying to say. Um, the big picture here is, you read a story in the Bible and it says the moral of the story is, you um, share. Let's say, for example, they had a fight and blah blah blah. This guy wanted to use a sheep, so he stole the sheep from the other guy, and the other guy was like, "Well, hey, if you give me some of my sheep back, you can have some. You can keep some of the sheep, and I'm sharing some of my sheep with you, and so we can be both prosperous and fruitful and whatever." Um, through that story, you could take it as a moral, as be helpful through sharing, so not only you, but your neighbors and whatnot can feel can can feel good and be fruitful and whatnot. The whole point of that is, religion could miscue that and take it literally as, with you should be sharing half your wealth with your neighbor. That's kind of what I'm trying to get at, is sometimes religion can focus in on teaching but not understand. They'll act it out literally, and they won't understand the moral, or maybe a metaphor, or whatever, right? um, Also, for for something like science or whatever. Well, what I'm trying to say is, religion has a bunch of stories which can morals. We can base it to our lives, which will enhance it. Um, Wherever you have something that can be proved by science, like for example, you could say, atoms move at such a rate that we're able to split them and create nuclear, atomic reactions, which create explosions, or energy, or whatever that nuclear science is. We can figure that out, and that kind of brings us into an insight of the world that religion doesn't. Or at the same point in time, religion helps people understand things like the creation of the universe, and the means, and the meaning of existence, and afterlife and whatnot, giving things that science really can't prove. I mean, all science can really prove for the afterlife is when you die, your body biodegrades, and all the organs stop working, and disintegrate, and your body just stops working. Whereas, because we're intelligent, living, moving beings, and like there's other things on our planet that obviously can think for themselves, and have personalities. um, there's a whole level of, you know what happens when you die, and religion kind of gives you something that science can't. And basically, to sum it up in 30 seconds, I believe if you take part of science, part of religion, and mix them together, you can. I have found my level of belief based upon the two, filling in the gaps that science has, that religion has. Science has gaps that I fill with religion, and vice versa. And that's kind of my rant for the day, based on those two subjects. There you go.